If you have applied for the Turkish scholarship this year and your application got accepted, you have been invited for an interview. This video is for you. Follow me till the end of this video in order to prepare well for this interview. If it is your first time you are watching my videos, this is Dr. Fakri Abu Zahra. I got a scholarship from the Turkish government in 2011. I'm delivering my experience and the experience I got from my colleagues. Today's talk is going to be split into 3 parts. How to prepare for this interview, how to act during this interview, what kind of questions they are going to ask you and how to respond, and eventually how to end this interview. This is a vital interview. It might decide really your future. Where are you gonna live? What are you gonna do, etc. So it's really vital to prepare well for this interview. What kind of things we have to prepare for this interview? First, I'm gonna give you some hints. Normally, they are followed for any sort of interviews, whether it is an interview for a scholarship or for a work or for, there are also interviews when you apply for a master degree like a loan or a PhD. So any kind of interview, these are tips should be followed basically. The first advice is don't sleep too late the night before the interview. If you have an interview on Monday, please don't sleep too late on Sunday. Remember that you have to go fresh to this interview. You shouldn't seem sleepy during the interview. Another hint, I found it useful. Don't eat a lot before you go to this interview. Eating a lot means you are going to be sleepy as well. Now the dress code. Please dress to impress. The dress code is different between men and women. When it comes to men, try to go with a suit, even with a tie, it could be better. Don't look so fancy. Be as much as possible a gentleman with a formal dress. And when it comes to ladies, put on a formal clothes. Remember that you are not going to a nightclub or you're not gonna go for, let's say, soiree. You are going for an interview, so be formal as much as you can. And furthermore, put makeup, but don't exaggerate. Last but not least, try to make a mock interview with someone. Let's say your brother, your friend, your father, your mother, whoever, or even in front of a mirror. Try to ask yourself some questions, the questions that we are going to address a few minutes later. Try to ask yourself these questions in front of a mirror and evaluate yourself. Probably you might need to video record yourself, or even just a sound recording could be also fine. Once you improve, let's say, your intonation, once you improve your fluidity, let's say, this helps a lot to give you some sort of confidence during this interview, because you are going to be stressed. Even now, if I get into an interview, I'm going to be nervous. Everyone can be nervous during this peculiar moment. Once you prepare, at least you decrease dramatically the amount of nervousness that you might have. Now, the bonus from this video, if you want that I can be your interviewer, don't hesitate to contact me. I will leave my contact information in the comments. So if you want to have a mock presentation, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll do my best to help you to pass this interview successfully. The last thing is arriving on time or a little bit earlier. If you have your interview at 9 a.m. in the morning, so please mind being there at 8:30, not more than that, so that you arrive calm. You might have your coffee whatsoever, or cappuccino or tea. Be on time there. You arrive a little bit earlier. Stay calm, because you need to stay calm. You are going to be nervous, let's say at 9 a.m., but let's be as calm as possible since 8:30. At least you will have this habit during, let's say, the 30 or 1 hour starting from 8:30 in the morning. We have discussed a lot. How should we prepare ourselves before the interview? Now, during the interview, nowadays we cannot handshake due to sanitary regulations. We are not allowed to handshake, but we are allowed to keep eye contact. Of course, friendly eye contact. And normally, when you talk to someone, you have to look at his eyes or her eyes, once to his or her eyes and once to his or her mouth. This is how we keep eye contact in a friendly manner. Once you enter the room of the interview, try to be kind and greet them. Whether you are gonna greet them with your local language, English or Turkish, um, warmly greet them. When it comes to languages, what sort of languages you are gonna have your interview? So they are giving you options, whether it's gonna be with the local language of that country. I don't know, maybe in Palestine they could have Arabic, in Egypt Arabic, in Morocco maybe French, in Ghana could be English. I don't know, the local language of that country, or international language, and normally it's English or Turkish. So you can choose. When it comes to languages, most probably the Turkish interviewer will know English. So if you try to speak in English at least, this might help him to evaluate you correctly. Of course, once they tell you that you can speak in your local language, that means if you are not confident about your English, please speak in your local language. It's okay, it's fine, completely fine. Normally nations, they love other people to learn their language. Turkish people are not exempted from this rule. I think if you go to this interview and of course you master some basic sentences in Turkish, you tell them that, I have started already learning Turkish and I know how to introduce myself in Turkish. I think this would be differentiation between you and the other candidates. So this might be counted, of course, for you. Definitely if you master that. And for this reason, I have created a couple of videos for learning Turkish as a foreign language for beginners. So you can follow this playlist, and I'm pretty sure that this is gonna add something to your profile and differentiate you from other candidates. Now, what the Turkish scholarship organization, let's say, declare that they are gonna ask you. First, they are gonna ask you cultural question. This could be about your country, could be also about Turkey. It could be more about the cities that you have chosen to study in. Remember that you have chosen a couple of universities. If it was for masters and PhDs, it could be 6, 7 choices, 8 choices. I don't remember. When it comes to bachelor studies, it might reach up to 12. And of course, the 12 definitely will be in different, it will be in different cities. And the 12 or even the 6 or 8, whatsoever the number of choices, they are going to be in different cities. So get back all your choices, analyze the cities, learn a little bit more about the culture of that city, etc. Small research could help you a lot during this interview, so don't underestimate that. You are gonna ask me, but I have put, let's say, about 10 cities and I won't have time to explain everything about them. Definitely, I agree with you. Choose 1, 2, 3, remarkable cities, one or two big and 1 or 2 small cities, and collect some information about them, maybe historical information, maybe some cultural habits, etc. This might help you a lot. That means if they ask you, why you have chosen this university in this city, cities might be similar. If they are two big cities, let's say Ankara and Istanbul, and you have prepared a lot about Istanbul, you can tell them that, yeah, it's a big city because Ankara and Istanbul, both of them are big. So you can take these similarities to talk about the other city that you have not really prepared for. So you can bypass that. When it comes to your choice, of course, you can speak about the city that you are confident about it. They are going to ask you also about your academic achievement. If it was for bachelor studies, they are going to ask you about your high school degrees and probably your preference, why you have chosen, let's say, scientific, why you have chosen, I don't know, the other branches. If you are targeting graduate studies, they might ask you about your bachelor's or even your master's. What was the topic of your research? So please don't be arrogant to them. Remember that these interviewers are not specialists, and it's very, very, very unlikely that they could understand your research. That means if you are, I don't know, if you are electrical engineer, so please don't get down into equations. Okay, they don't understand that. Or I don't know, if you are a mechanical engineer, please don't speak about stresses and tensors, etc. They won't understand anything. So don't be arrogant to them. Give them the big picture. And if you want to know up to what degree I have to simplify the stuff, okay, I'll tell you. Get an old man from street or to your grandfather or your grandmother. Tell them the story of your research. If they understand, then the committee is going to understand as well. After that, they are going to ask you about your choices. Why have you chosen that university, or why have you chosen that specialty? Because you have graduated from biology department and you want to study maybe germs and I don't know, another specialty and a third specialty. They are different. Okay, so why have you chosen them, and why have you chosen these universities? In this case, you can split your answer into three parts. You can first talk about why have you chosen this specialty. You can talk a little bit. You are the specialist. Again, simplify the stuff for them, because it's very unlikely that the interviewer has a scientific degree similar to yours. Okay, normally they have sort of psychology or I don't know, like the specialties, business administration, stuff like that. So they are normally not in your scientific domain. So don't forget that. You can talk a little bit why have you chosen that field, and try to relate it with the development of your country. The objective is not to bring people to Turkey and live in Turkey. The objective is to spread as much as possible the Turkish culture and the Turkish education. And of course, to improve the Turkish education, to improve the ranking of the university. We're going to talk about that a few minutes later. But for now, we have to keep in mind that we have to relate everything to the development of our countries, and this is the objective. We said you can start by talking about why have you chosen that specialty, then why have you chosen that university. You can talk about the history, you can talk about the ranking among Turkish universities and also among the world. Eventually, you can talk also about the city, because you're gonna live, not only study, you're gonna live in that city during your study. Your study might take at least 2 years or 3 years normally. Even if it is masters, you're gonna study normally Turkish language, and then 2 years for masters most cases. So at least 3 years. It might be extended to 5, 6, 7 years if you are studying medicine, for instance. That means you are going to live in that city. And once you choose a university to study in, you are targeting as well the city. How are you going to live there? So it's good also to highlight that you have chosen that university for a purpose. Now, let's assume that you have chosen these universities without any previous study or without any prior knowledge. It's okay. Try to find some reasons for your choice. Okay, they are not gonna ask you about how or why have you chosen each choice, because they don't have time basically. They might ask you why have you chosen the first, the second, etc. You can speak a little bit about that. Try to find some good reasons. Could be related to culture, could be related to uh, the ranking of the university is quite important in this case. Okay. Last thing, They are going to ask you, why have you chosen Turkey? This is very important question and you have to answer it carefully. First, you shouldn't tell them that, yes, actually, because this is the only scholarship I got, or this is the only opportunity I got. In my opinion, this question shouldn't be answered like that. First, in your country, there are many doctors, many engineers, many people have graduated from Turkey. And you can talk about their quality, and you can also talk about the fact that you want to be like them. You want to have the quality of education that they've got. You can also talk about the professors at your university. You can tell them that we have some professors, they have graduated from Turkey and they are excellent, and I think this can be attributed to the quality of education in Turkey. This is one reason that I want to go there. Try to praise as much as you can, but don't, of course, exaggerate the quality of the education in Turkey, because it worth that. We are not exaggerating actually when we are talking about the quality of education in Turkey is good. Really, it is good. Let's say you can search yourself from the ranking of the universities, from the projects, from the great achievements that these universities are getting. So don't underestimate that because these are facts. I'm not talking about science fiction. I'm talking about facts. You can look at the patents, probably you can look at research papers, etc. The quality of education in Turkey is great. In 2011, Turkish Scholarship as an organization, it did not exist at that time, and the Turkish Scholarship was managed by the Ministry of Education in Turkey. But nevertheless, the concept is the same. Most probably, even the people are the same who are working in this branch. Okay. What they have asked me in my time, what they have asked me in my interview. They have asked me, what are you gonna do after your study? Once you are done with your masters, what are you gonna do? I've answered them, I'm gonna come back to my country to help developing my country while keeping the bridges between Palestine and Turkey, and initiate collaborations, and of course keep teaching Turkish language to my family, to my children, etc. I think this is ideal question, and this is basically the objective of the Turkish scholarship. They might ask you another question. They might ask you, why should we take you and not another person? Well, you can tell them some of your, let's say, positive points, but don't show them the ego. Please don't show them the ego. Probably they could ask you, why should we get you, not another one? You could tell them that, imagine that you are targeting medicine. You have applied for the Turkish scholarship as a medical student. You can tell them that, first, I have a good memory, and medicine requires a good memory and requires sort of persistence, and your examples, of course, are ready. You can show them your scores. So these are the questions that I think they could ask you, and normally these kind of interviews are dedicated to show your attitude towards the Turkish scholarship, that you are really the right person and you are the right person to invest in you, because you are gonna cost them a lot of money. Are you the right person to be chosen for this scholarship, or we should give it to someone else who deserves it? Now, before you leave, thank the committee and wish them a pleasant stay in your country. This is very important. We have two important moments during an interview: the first couple of seconds and the last couple of seconds. Start your interview well and end your interview even better. If your application was selected and you are invited for an interview and you would like to have a mock interview with me, don't hesitate to contact me. Leave me a comment in the comment section and I'm gonna come back to you ASAP. If it is your first time that you are watching my videos, you can subscribe to my channel. In my channel, I'm talking about education and languages, and especially Turkish language. I talk also about my experiences in different countries, especially in Turkey, Italy, and right now in France. If you like this video, hit the thumb up, subscribe to my channel, and activate the bell so that you are not gonna miss any of my new videos. Follow me also on Facebook, where I give also useful information. You can also share this content with a person whom you think that he can benefit from this kind of material. Thanks a lot for watching, and good luck in your interview. If you haven't been selected this year, I hope you are going to be selected next year. So don't give up. You are gonna reach what you are looking for. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.